Welcome to the Boat Galley Podcast. I'm Carolyn Shearlock, here with tips, reviews, and how-tos for your cruising adventure. This episode is sponsored by the Boat Galley Guide to Storing Food Without Refrigeration. Have truly great meals with fresh produce, meat, butter, cheese, eggs, and more, even if you don't have a refrigerator or it's tiny. This ebook is now on sale for just $7. Get an extra $1 off with the coupon code PODCAST. Slow down, slow down. Last time, I talked a little bit about learning the systems on your new boat. When we got our first, and then again for our second cruising boat, Dave and I went over every system and traced out what went where and how it all worked. There are a number of different systems on most boats. They might include a freshwater system, that I talked about last time, a water maker. We were so intimidated by that one. Neither one of us had ever seen a water maker before, much less used one. But by the end of the day, we both felt comfortable using it. The propane, or whatever fuel you use to cook, is another system to trace out. Start at the tank and go to the stove or possibly to a grill or a heater. Make sure you know where the solenoid is and where the control for it is. Then there's the toilets. You need to know where the water intake is, the holding tank, the pump out location, the discharge overboard, and whatever else your system may have. This can be really important in a nasty situation. You also want to know where all your through holes are. We took photos of the outside of the boat when it was on the hard and then enlarged them and posted them in a prominent place so that in case of an emergency, we didn't have to think about where they were. The next one is the engine fuel. Be sure to include all the fuel filters and any fuses in the system. Cooling water for the engine or the transmission or generator is another important one. If one of those hoses are to break, you want to know exactly where they go. Next is how the batteries get their power. This could include several sources: shore power, wind generators, solar panels, a generator, probably an alternator. You need to know where they all have regulators, where they tie in together, and if there's any monitor on the batteries so you know how much power you've got. You also want to learn about your battery switches. What exactly are they doing? Are they switching which battery is in use, or are they switching the source of power for the batteries? Our boat had 2 switches. We had to learn how they work together. You also want to learn about your breaker panel and any other breakers that are located in different places. We have separate breakers for the windlass, a washdown pump, and solar charging. It's important to know about all of those. Now, while it might have been a good idea, we didn't trace out all of the wiring initially. We did that as we worked on various items. And I know, it seems like a lot of stuff. Don't try to do it all at once. Take it slowly. Enjoy learning about your boat. Remember, you didn't learn all about living ashore in a day. You just picked it up over a period of years. Don't expect to know everything at once about the boat. And while everyone's learning style is different, Dave and I found that after each of our times on the boat, we'd go back and read about various systems, both in books and on the internet. Things that had seemed incomprehensible to us suddenly made sense. Our confidence at being able to master this new lifestyle just soared. One final note. Most boaters and cruisers that I talk to all say the same thing. The first year is by far the hardest. There is such a learning curve. Other boaters are one of your greatest resources. While it was hard for Dave and me to ask for help, many times we found that there was an easy solution for what we thought was an almost insurmountable problem. And in time, we became the ones that were offering help instead of always asking for it. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, please be sure to subscribe in your podcast app. Just search for the Boat Galley Podcast. And reviews are always appreciated. Until next time, then.
Slow